This short tutorial is covering the article critique that is due in week 5. Here in week 5 we see a description of the written assignment article critique. There are several documents you need to complete the article critique. The first is a miniature guide to critical thinking. You'll find this document below in the additional readings. The second is the article critique tutorial. You will find this in the Assignment Guidelines and Rubric tab. In addition, you will see a second step in the article critique tutorial write-up in the Assignment Guidelines and Rubrics tab. Finally, you'll see several student examples of their article critiques. Let's begin by looking at the Miniature Guide to Critical Thinking. On page 11, you will see a template for analyzing the logic of an article. The first question, the main purpose of this article is. The next, the key question that the author is addressing. These questions will be used to analyze your article. Let's look at the PowerPoint of the article critique tutorial. In this PowerPoint, it begins with rules to follow. You will choose a topic or an idea and acquire an additional information. You will acquire a journal or document. You can use the library resources or an internet search on your own. We will do 2 article critiques in Business 520. I ask that at least one of your articles is from a peer-reviewed journal. These journals are reviewed by peers in the field before they are published. When you do your research in the library, there is a box to click that indicates that only search peer-reviewed journals. Be sure to use proper APA style in the reference of your source, and then answer the questions in complete sentences. The first 4 questions: what is the author's focus? What is the main or most significant idea or key question? Or how does the author achieve his or her goal? And who do you think is the author's intended audience? If we return back to the article template for analyzing the article, we will see these questions: the main purpose, the key question, and most important information, and so on. I've slightly changed the questions for the article critique in this tutorial to simplify the assignment. The next document that we will look at is the assignment write-up. Here, when I go to the Assignment Guidelines and Rubrics, you will see we reviewed the article critique tutorial. The next is the article critique prep work. A student has looked at the article critique tutorial, looked at the questions, and then has answered the questions in sentence format to create small answers, responses, and paragraphs. What is the author's trying to do or purpose? What's the main or most significant idea? Each of these questions has a response below. Most likely, the student were addressing these questions as they were reading the article. Next, let's look at some of the final write-ups of the article critique. The first is a student example. The student answered the questions and then connected the questions together, the responses together, to form a single-page article critique. You notice at the top they made the reference using APA format. In the header, they used a small phrase to indicate the topic of the article critique. Let's look at a second example. Student, once again, single space, 1-page article critique. In the header is the topic of the article critique. Using APA format, constructed the reference, and at the bottom put their last name, comma, first initial. I would like you to put your last name and first initial so I will be able to match the critique with the student.